Hey everyone, it's Paul Fontaine from KW St. Pete. Today we're going to talk about how to write an offer with command and then submit it through Docusign. We're not going to be talking about the exact details of where to put certain things in the sales contract and where to fill in the blanks. That's another video. But what this is to discuss the process of beginning to end, and then we'll also make a note of another video that you can watch to know the details of actually what to put in the sales contract. So hypothetically, your buyer goes out and checks out a house, says they like it, and they want to put in an offer. So I wrote these steps down. I can also send you this list also, or the link will be in the YouTube channel description. But step one, obviously, is to go through any kind of sold comps that have sold recently in the past, say, 3 to 6 months that are similar to that property, and review those and send those over to your client so you can have a general idea of how much other similar homes have sold for in the area with the same amount of bedrooms, bathrooms, similar square footage, etc. So once you've discussed what price you want to offer with the client and discuss what the closing date and also deposit monies, then we can actually go to the MLS and start from there. So hypothetically, I'm just using this listing I just pulled up as an example, 2108 Auburn Street. So you want to print off this sheet so you have it in front of you, because it has certain information that you'll want to be looking at, like the tax ID number and the legal description, as you can see down here on the bottom left-hand side. Also, you want to download any kind of attachments. The attachments are in this paperclip icon that you see here. I'll just click it. And so they have the property disclosure here and the lead-based disclosure. So you can just click on that and download those forms. And then you can put those into command. So both the lead disclosure and the seller's disclosure there. So once you've downloaded any attachments, there also could be a condo rider, things like that. You can upload that into command. So you have that in your room. Next, you want to print out the public record. I use this one, particularly this icon, the IMAP tax record. So you can click on that. And once it comes up, you can see that it has all the information on it, just good to have. Again, has tax ID information, who the owner is, etc. So print this out. Right here it says print this page. So you can print that out and have that with you. All right. So going back to, then go to command. You can log into your command. And then you need to add your customer to your database if they're not in there already. It really should be in there already, hopefully. But if they're not, you can click on contacts here. I'm just going to add a fake add contact there. Just add a fake record. Put in the full name there, email address, fake record at Gmail. Whatever the email address is, you can fill in as much information as you'd like. It's always best to have a full name, email address, and phone number. But at least the name and the email is what you need for this particular purpose of this video. I always put tags on all of my contacts also. That's a whole different video. But you can just create here. So now the fake record is in your database. You can search for it. Pull up fake record, all right, so you can click on that. So now you have your fake record figured out here, and as you can see on the top right, we have different categories. So you want to create an opportunity, so click on the Opportunities tab here, and as you'll see, up pops the Create Opportunity button. So click on the Create Opportunity button. I have different selections because I have 2 different offices, but most likely this will just show St. Petersburg. Anything with the red asterisk is a required category that you need to make a decision on. So St. Petersburg, obviously it's market center opportunity type. So most of the time you're going to be picking up a buyer. So click buyer. Paul Fontaine is the owner. This is my client or customer, fake record. This opportunity name is whatever you want to call it. You want to give it the name of your customer, if you want to give it the address of the listing, whatever you desire. We'll just have fake record buyer here. And as we go along, you can see the only thing that is blank, that is a red asterisk, is commission. Check out the commission for that. I think it was 2.25 low commission. So I have so many tabs here. So 2.25, you put that in there. This is already defaulted. And again, for the purposes of this offer, we'll just move forward and click create the opportunity. All right, so now you see that we have created an opportunity. So click on the opportunity that you created. And now you have different categories that you can choose from. So if you click on the documents page, and then on the left-hand side, it says pick checklist type. And if you click on that, you can choose what you want. Is it residential house? Is it a condominium? Is it vacant land, new construction, etc.? Again, often you'd be doing residential or condo. So this one is a house, so residential. And automatically it'll pop up the 3 different stages of your contract. The consultation stage, where it's optional for the buyer's broker agreement. We always recommend you get that. And this is where you can browse to upload that document. The next category is under contract. There's a lot more. And as you can see, some of them are optional, some of them are required in red. And if you have a question about what it is or anything, you can click on this little eye that says this is what you need in certain circumstances. And this is where you can upload them. So need the as-is contract or the FAR bar or whatever, the disclosure, escrow receipt. And then if we click on the closed, obviously you need the settlement ALTA sheet and HUD to upload that, copy the closing checks, etc. Again, different video, but just wanted to give you a general overview on that. Once you've done that, you can start your transaction here on the right-hand side and then log into Docusign. I'm already logged into Docusign, so maybe it doesn't connect me to that, but in general, you want to make sure that you're connected to Docusign. If you're not connected to Docusign, you may have to go to the general settings of your command and connect it. But if you are, you should log in automatically, or, oh my God, can you hear these birds? You can log in automatically through this, and as you can see here on the top left, it says Docusign Rooms. So now we're in a room and we need to upload documents in order to start writing the sales contract. So before you do that, there's a details button on the left here, and that's where you can put in any details that you have about the offer. That way it'll pre-populate into your paperwork rather than you having to type everything. So you can click the top right button that's here, that's blue, that says edit. Now it gives you opportunity to edit anything. You can edit the name again if you decide to change it to something else. Right now it says fake record buyer. So this is where you put in the seller's name. Again, I'm not going to go through all the details for this, but you would check that public record that you printed off that says the owner's name. So fake record owner. You don't really need this information, particularly for the offer. If there's 2 sellers, you can put the fake record owner 2 there. Again, there's other categories here on the left-hand side. You can put in information when the offer date was, etc. All up to you how you want to do it. I don't particularly do it that way, but I do the contact information because that does appear on numerous forms, so it's easier to do. Listing agent, you can put in listing agent's name, and then also good to put in their email address because you're going to be emailing this to them later. This listing agent email there. And if there's 2 listing agents, you can put them in there. Your information hopefully defaults, but this is the buyer information here with the email address that you put in previously, so that pre-populated. And if there's another buyer, put it there. And then lastly, your information, buyer, agent. So this pre-populates, but if it doesn't, you can put your information there. And then you can click on the bottom right is the blue button for saving. The room has been updated. Alrighty. So now again, on right next to the details button that we were just on, you can click Documents, back to the screen that we were on. And as you can see on the top right, there's an Add button. So now you want to add the forms that you need to utilize in order to write the offer. So click on Add, and you want to select Docusign Forms. It tends to default to the Florida Association of Realtor selections, but just click that just to make sure that's what you're on. Again, there's different, I have different categories because I have a few different offices, but this is all in alphabetical order. It's just a ton of addenda that you can utilize for these purposes. Again, you know, the as is contract is what we'll use for that. If you need any other forms, you can just go through here. If you want the BBA, the buyer broker agreement, of course, it's not called buyer broker agreement under B. It's under E, just to make it challenging. So exclusive buyer broker agreement. And of course, there's a bunch of different versions also, just to keep you on your toes. So exclusive buyer broker agreement, probably transaction broker, most likely the one that you would be choosing. So why not? Let's check off that one. So you can check off whichever ones you want, and you can add forms later also. So this is not your one and only time to be able to do this. So once you've selected the ones that you want, on the bottom left blue here is Add Selected. So click Add Selected, and they'll pop up in your room. So there they are, as is contract and the BBA. So we'll just deal with the as is contract right now. So if you want to open it up, you can just click anywhere here. Don't click the top left because that does something differently. But if you do, you can just press the back arrow, but just click here to open that up. And then you can begin writing your sales contract. Again, this is a whole different video of what to put in each of these blanks and how to actually write the offer in these particular pages. So we'll put up a link for that to see actually how you do that. But as you can see, because you put in the information in that details tab, it pre-populates, so it prints out who the sellers are, who the buyers are, and if you put any other information in the details, it would have pre-populated here also. So again, this is a separate video to go through all of this, but once you fill out all of this and go all the way to the end and finish that up, and again, as you can see, I'm pre-populated at the bottom, as is the listing agent. So you filled it all out, looks wonderful, you're excited about it, click Save and Close. So now that is saved in your room and all filled out. All right, so now you want to send it to your buyer to get it signed. You know, they need to review it, obviously, also with you, and then get it signed. So you want to click this top left button that we mentioned before whenever you want to do an action such as sending it or getting it signed. So again, for these purposes, I'm not going to, I would have clicked both of these buttons to send them both of these documents, but just for simplification, I'm going to click the as is residential contract. And as you can see, these icons just popped up once I did that. I check it off, they disappear, check it, they pop up. So this is what you're going to utilize to email to someone. This is what you're going to utilize to create an envelope if you want to send it to someone for electronic signatures. If you want to archive it or just delete it, you have all these different options here. So whenever you're sending something to get signed through Docusign, you want to create an envelope, just like you were mailing something to someone in the United States Postal Service. You got to get an envelope to put whatever information in there to send it out. So click on the little pen icon that says create an envelope, and it'll bring you to the next screen. Okay, now that you're in this room, you can go down and choose who you want to send it to. So if you put information into that detail tab, which we did, you'll see that it says pre-tagged roles. So we already told the system who the buyer is, who the listing agent is, etc. So that's one way of doing it. You can also just choose room participants and it'll give you different choices. Or if you just want to put in someone's email address that's not in any detail tabs, and you can do that also. So if it says pre-tagged, I usually just pick that. So buyer one, I'll just choose the fake record there, and that's the buyer one. The seller, I'm not having the seller sign anything because I'm not on the seller side. So that's the only person I need to sign is my buyer. So once you click that, you click add selected, and they'll pop up. So this says, as a sender, you'll automatically receive a copy of the completed envelope, and this is the buyer that needs to sign their name and their email address there. If you need to add anyone else, you can just click that again. But for the time being, I just have one buyer, and he or she is going to sign it. So this is the email subject line. It already says, please DocuSign as a default. If you want to change it to something else, you can do that. Here's the email message that will go with it. Traditionally, I will write, hi, fake record dude. I'm excited to send you this offer for your house. Always be excited. They're excited, so make sure that they're excited. They're also probably super nervous and super scared also, because it could be their first purchase. But even if it's not their first purchase, it's still a lot of money and a big decision. So you want to reinforce the decisions and be excited. So I'm excited to send you this offer for your house. I also like to say your house because it makes it start thinking that this is their house. And so hopefully they won't start freaking out later on and decide not to buy the house. So when I talk to sellers, I talk about the property because it doesn't sound like your home anymore. And so for sellers, it's easier for them to let go when you call it the property. But when you're talking to buyers, it's good to call it your house. Anyway, so I'm excited to send you this offer for your house. Let's chat to review. And once all questions are answered, please initial and sign where requested. Thanks, thank you, whatever. All right, so you can write whatever you would like, but in general, you want to send it to them, make sure they know what this is, make sure that you're excited and they're excited. Also, you most likely want to review it with them. It's something that you're used to seeing all the time, but the first time they're seeing it. So always best to have a Zoom or a phone call or in person to review the paperwork before they sign it. So once that's all set, you can click the top yellow button next. And now it'll actually bring up the paperwork with the predefined initials and signatures into Docusign. Alrighty, so here we are. This is the contract that you signed. I'm sorry, not you signed. This is the contract that you wrote out with all the information. And on the left-hand side are all different categories that you can choose from if you want to. Since this is already done in the details section of this, it should default the correct spots for everything. So as you can see, the initials are already pre-planted there. You don't have to do anything yourself. So just as an FYI, if for some reason you wanted to add another initial somewhere or something was missing, you can just go over here to select whatever you want. If you want an initial, just click and drag it, and I can just drag another one anywhere. If you change the time of acceptance to something else, you need your buyer's initials, you just click and drag it and leave it there. Now they need an extra initial. If you don't want it, you can just click and drag it back there and throw it in the trash. If you want an extra signature, you can do the same thing. Now they're going to have to sign there, yada, yada, yada. Bring it in the trash if you don't want it. The date signed, if you want to write different texts, you can do that. Add a checkbox, drop down, yada, yada. All right, so this is page one. You just want to go through this, make sure that this is all in the correct area. And again, if for some reason, if this didn't default here, then you just drag one and put it there. Page two, page three, I'm sure it's fine here, but again, just want to go through everything, make sure everything makes sense before your buyer gets it, because if it doesn't make sense, your buyer is going to call you and say, what's going on? I don't understand. So just going to show you a few different ways of doing it. So, Section 19 is a very popular section, and a lot of times there's a condo, there's some condo rider that should be with this, or if the house is before 1978, there's some lead-based paint disclosure. So let's just say hypothetically, I forgot when I was writing this contract that that there was a lead-based paint disclosure here. So you don't have to go back if you don't want to. You can, but one way of doing it is picking one of these things. So maybe I want to do a check box here. So I'm going to drag this check box where the lead-based paint box is and drop it. And now if I want to check it off, I click on that and now it's checked off. Done. So you can do it yourself. You can just unclick it and leave it blank, and your buyer can click it. It's yellow just like all these other ones, so it'll go to this category and tell the buyer to check it off if they want to. So either way is fine. I'd rather just do it myself to know that it's done. And again, if you don't want it, you can just drag it back. Also, if you come here and say, oh, I meant to write that I want to make sure that the seller has closed all the permits, yada, yada. You can click the text box here and write whatever you want. Now it's kind of small, so you can drag it in the corner, make it as big as you want or small as you want, and then you can double click and write whatever you want. Seller agrees to have all permits closed on the property prior to closing. I don't know, whatever you want to write there. So you can write that in if you forgot to do that when you're writing the offer. Signature and date signed is automatically there. Again, our information as the agents are there. And once you reviewed it, then you can click send. Now, I'm not going to click send because this is going to send it to fake record at Gmail. But once you click send, you'll be brought back to the Docusign room and show you it's been sent and go from there. So what you also want to do, let me find it. So back in this fake record in command, let's go to the transaction. These are the documents that we uploaded. Once you click send, it'll show a history saying that you've sent the document and who has signed it. And also what you want to do is most likely you have a pre-approval letter from your buyer. So you want to click add here. Possibly you downloaded it to a computer. So we were downloading Docusign forms here, but as you can see right above it is computer. So you could just click computer and then just find where that document is in your downloads in your computer. And you can upload that into your room because you're going to want to send that pre-approval letter with the contract to the listing agent. So hypothetically, if I upload the pre-approval letter, that would show up next to this here. I would click on that. I would click on the as is contract. I would click on the exclusive buyer contract. Actually, I'm sorry. So the pre-approval letter would appear here in a graphic. And once everything is signed, I would click the as is contract. I would want to click the top left box of the pre-approval letter to send it to the listing agent. And then this icon here next to the pen that you had clicked on before to create an envelope is email. So you click on email and then you put the listing agent's email address here, listing agent email, and then any message you want to send to the listing agent. Again, you want to be excited. I'm excited to present this offer for your listing at X Central Ave. Typically, you want to give a quick summary of the offer. That way it makes it easy for the agent to quickly understand what the offer is, or you can have your own summary sheet that goes with it. Price is X, closing date is X, deposit monies X, typical mortgage and inspection, can't spell today, inspection contingencies, etc. Please confirm receipt. I always ask, I'm not spelling anything right. Please confirm receipt. Obviously, I would fix that. If I sent it, please confirm receipt. You always want to make sure you have a confirmation of receipt. There's plenty of times in the past decade or two that I've been doing offers and sending contracts that you send it and don't hear from an agent, and then the next day you'll follow up and see if you have a response, and they say, what offer? I didn't receive anything. So you always want to confirm receipt. And if you don't hear from them in a couple hours, then I would text and call until you make sure that they received it. And then you have this blue button here to send the email. So that is the process of putting a contact into command, creating opportunities, starting a transaction, choosing a checklist for what is needed internally at the KW office for under contract and for closing, and how to put it into Docusign, how to make sure that all the signatures and initials are there, how to put in the recipient's email to send it, to get it signed, how to put it in there to send it to the listing agent. And then once you, my God, these dogs. Guys, hello. Trying to be professional here. Guys. It's literally the neighbor. Like, it's just a neighbor. I'm almost done with this. All righty. So this is the whole summary of how to do that. And as I said, you can go into the history in your Docusign room to see anything, what has been sent, what has been signed, who has opened it, who has viewed it. You're most likely going to be getting emails with that same information also. So just be on the lookout for that. And then once you've confirmed receipt by the listing agent that you've received it, congratulations, you have written and sent and submitted your first offer. Congratulations, fingers crossed. Hopefully it works out for you and the buyer. Have a great day. Any questions, call Paul St. Pete at Gmail or pfontaine@kw.com. Thank you.